Sunday, March 31, 2013. This is Mercedes Diesel Guy, and this is my 1995 Subaru Legacy L Outback. So what I'm going to be concentrating on today is exhaust manifold studs, and let me get under the car and show you why I'm going to pay attention to this. Now, as with any Subaru here in the northeastern US, you're going to get a lot of rust, especially on exhaust components. This exhaust, I believe, has been replaced in the past, and there's no leaks. It actually sounds excellent. But let's see if I can even zoom in here. If you look at this exhaust manifold stud, you'll see it's all corroded. And 10 to 1, if you try to remove that exhaust nut, you're going to take the stud out of the head with it. Pretty much almost every time I've taken off a Subaru exhaust manifold, the studs have come out with the nuts. And a lot of people, they will just reinstall the stud and nut together, kind of like a bolt. But looking at the driver's side of the engine, this stud and nut are still in the head right here, but one stud is completely missing, and one has been replaced with a bolt, which is kind of a no-no. Let me show you the new stud I'll be using. So, here is one of the new studs. I think I got this through Rock Auto. The last time I did exhaust studs on a Subaru, I went to the dealership, but since it's generally a kind of a standard hardware item, I went through Rock Auto and got a box of them cheaper than the dealership would have had them, and it came with one of my previous parts orders. So I'm going to be replacing these today. There's really not much to it. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to chase out very gently the threads in this hole right here, just to make sure that the new stud will thread in properly, even though it kind of did by hand already. And then I'm going to install the new stud and the new nut. Okay, here's one of those useful bits of information. The tap I'm going to need is actually M10 by 1.25 for the threads. So here it is right here. I think that's just good information for you to have. So I'm going to run this through the first hole in the exhaust manifold, in the head for the exhaust manifold stud. Okay, I'm ready to install the new exhaust manifold stud, which you see right here. Now you can see that the center portion here is a little bit offset. The longer end does have to go into the cylinder head. Obviously, there's no head on this, so I can't grip it directly. And if I grip this with, let's say, a pair of vice grips, I'm probably going to damage the threads, and therefore kind of render the work I've done useless. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread a pair of the proper sized nuts onto the end here, tighten them up against each other, and use that as a head to tighten the exhaust manifold into the head. So give me a second, I'll show you the setup for that. So you can see I have the two nuts here installed and tightened up against each other. Not too tight, just enough so they don't slip, and I can tighten the stud into the head. And there's just one more thing to do before I do that. You've seen this in a lot of my videos before. Anti-seize compound. This I use on practically everything. It certainly helps with disassembling something the next time. As you can see here on the back, exhaust manifold studs. So, like I said, I do tend to use this on just about everything. I have my anti-seize compound on now, so I'm going to thread this in by hand. Okay, here it goes. Like I said, I cleaned out these threads before, so this should go in pretty easy. So, got a 14mm wrench here, and I'm going to tighten down the stud against the head. Okay, I got the stud tightened down, and You can see it's in there nice, so I'm going to coat that with some anti-seize and get a nut and a lock washer installed. And okay, success. As you can see, I now have a new exhaust manifold stud and nut installed where they were missing before. So then I'm going to give it a quick start up and make sure there's no exhaust noise and leaks. So let's start it up now and see if I've created an exhaust manifold leak. So this is Mercedes Diesel Guy, and thanks for watching.